Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of Kerbal Space Program. We have quite a few things going on. We are starting with some starting capital and a lot of science. Mostly because we have lost all of our progress, and there are a lot of things that are new and interesting that we do want to get right into. So we will start by unlocking the tech tree all the way up to a certain point. Now, you'll notice one of the mods I have does not show tech until you've researched enough that the actual tech unlocks. So, as you start unlocking things, you'll notice the rest of the tech tree starts to fill out. And we are going to unlock as much as we can, because you'll notice some of them, we can see it, but we can't quite do anything with it because we need to have both researches done. Now, some of you who've seen my videos will know we are still nowhere near where we had started. Or, no, where we had left off. However, since it is a new beginning, I am not that worried. I believe we will get quite a bit of enjoyment out of it. Just getting us past some of the initial research shock that would have taken us a while, just to get back to where we were. As well, I know a lot of people do enjoy the bigger rockets. Doesn't mean I won't be making small ones since we are fairly new, but we'll be looking to launch our first vehicle, gather data, escape the atmosphere, and these are all easy contracts. So we're going to make an easy rocket. Gather research and launch a rocket. That's actually relatively easy, and it is something we can do quite quickly, in fact. The important things that we need to do, though, is we have to make sure that it will work. Since we are doing a very small test rocket, we're just going to make it so it can do a little bit of communication. Too crazy. barometer, and we will just put it up there. Now, I don't know if we have the research kit system that lets us do research very easily, but since we only have the one, it should not be an issue. We do want to look at grabbing a solid rocket, but we want to do something small. Not that small. That is just small enough. Head to the launch pad. We do have to separate our stages, but that is easy enough. Technically, we wouldn't even need to do that because all we gotta do is launch it, whether it gets off the ground or not. I've noticed the stream is quite delayed, so hopefully the audio is behaving the way it's supposed to, but if not, I apologize. For our YouTube audience, I'm sure you've seen plenty of this loading screen if you watch some people's videos. If I remember, I will cut this, but right now, no promises. I'm just trying to get it to operate and work. Put the rocket here. A bunch of things. Ooh, we do have our research. Save. Okay. Whee! I do like that it has brake down there. That is very nice. It does worry me that we do not have a signal. I'm confused why it says no signal, but I still have full control of the probe, as it was not the settings I had originally designed for this playthrough. But alas, at least according to this, we do have signal. I think because we don't have our radar set up, we technically don't have the full control housing. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe our parachute should deploy at the 1,000-meter mark. Here we go. There we go. For the most part, it is perfectly fine. When we bring it back, we will have our experiment with us. As you can see, the planet has rotated below us as we went straight up, and for the most part came straight down. we go. Recover it. Oop. Wait for the loading time to pass, hopefully without the terror that tends to show up. Okay, we've gathered the data. Let us look into carefully increasing these items. Newer nodes available, so that will probably be something we are looking to do. Ah, old airfield. That's amazingly adorable. For now, we are just going to do the missions we have available. And we'll wait for that to happen before we do anything too crazy. Our active mission. Let's go check out the airfield. Relatively easy because we can actually go there from the spaceplane hangar. Give us a little bit of funding to upgrade some more items. There are contracts. Gather scientific data, gather data, and world first. You gotta do an EVA and an EVA, which means we need a vehicle that has an actual crew. So we're gonna make something that will work. Check, make sure we don't have any EVA chairs. Ooh, we do. That's interesting. Let me see about making a strut vehicle. Oh, that strut is actually relatively big. And that is relatively near perfect use for us. That. Friend. Just because I rotated it doesn't mean you have to act all weird. Okay, we'll add our little command seat. Check our crew. Deb, you'll be going for a ride. Let's double check, make sure the wheels are motorized. Landing ski. That'd be interesting. Honestly, since we have brakes, we are not too worried about it. All we really want to do is get our pilot out there, which could be a relatively simple task. At least doing it this way. And call it a car one. It's not really. Oop. Go there. Oh, it's a non-control seat. That explains quite a bit then. Does make this relatively easy though, because then I just have to go put this there. Honestly, if I was willing to do the weight, I could always just do a command pod and get them out to walk the rest of the way, but I want to see if I can make a little rover to zip around the surface. Guess we'll head back to hangar, as that did not want to behave at all. Hopefully I can solve this with a bit of ease. I just have to get command system set up. It looks like I will be required to retool it based off that. That will add this, do this, and then one of the things we'll do is come here, bring that up and over this part, bring it down and over. Uh, okay. Realistically, this should work. Head to the island. Thankfully, because it's right there, we shouldn't have any real issues. I could have built a small aircraft to just do it. And if the car doesn't want to behave, I still might. But for now, where we're at. We will also be building a small aircraft to unlock the naval dock. However, I don't know if we're going to be worrying about that right this instant. It will come down to what is available. Oh, okay. Apparently, they're talking back with me. It is kind of really funny to me that all the controls I have are reversed. Burned out pod in the hangar. Easy enough. Out the brakes. Reset. Leave your seat. Down. Play all. Okay. Well, that's my own fault. Yeah, man. I'm sure someone can guess what I've done that caused this to be an issue. Turn the brakes on and let them catch back up. Board. And get moving. Now, like, we will be leaving the seat once again. I was really worried he was like gonna crack his helmet or something, and it would just be like, well, he's gone. Well, that's funny. You can do a climb on it, but you can also just run up them. I'm gonna be honest. I've known this was here, but I did not know you could climb up it. This is actually a really, really cute little thing. Return to the surface. Technically, we never left. Yeah, we got a few more flights to go. Well, buddy, we are almost there. Whee! That is absolutely amazing. And absolutely adorable. Let's get our friends here on top of the cart. Board. EVA. Oil. Keep your experiment board. And well, that's kind of cool. Okay, crew report. Keep it. Recover the vessel. Ooh. Mission complete. Hopefully we can collect both suborbital trajectory missions and we can build a nice little suborbital jump ship. Should have plenty of materials to pull it off. Bit of everything, they got a little experience out of it. Nothing crazy. Control, show me anomaly survey. Okay, that's cool. Stars, vessel, destination, suborbital, escape the atmosphere. Okay. I believe we have 2 cons. What? Bring them underwater. Yeah. That is a little less than likely to happen, given our track history. At least with submarines. We do okay with the space stuff, but submarines, not as much. Now, we have to do command pod, and I want to see what kind of capacities we have. The entry module with 3 is probably going to be... yeah. Probably going to be our used pod. And the main reason for that is we won't have Bill and all of them on board. I just realized one of the things that I'm going to want to do, let me put this back, is add the mod that allows us to do recovery controls. But for now, do this. That underneath it should contain all of the necessary crew. Come on, Bob, you're coming with. Now, first things first, we have to make sure this is capable of getting home. So it becomes a utility with extra parachutes. Then we check thermal. I'm gonna go with nice little heat shield. Relatively easy enough to deal with. Then we come to couplings, see if we have any separators that will work well for this. I have... no, that looked like it had stuff assigned to it. Why... why'd my shield go away? That... payload... simple... assigned payload. At least we will when it lets us. There we go. Simple, easy enough. Down here. Good. Don't think we have... oh, we do have the fuel duct. So... relative ease. parts. We have to make sure that we do not go too crazy. Otherwise, we will end up paying for it. I have an engine better fit for this. 318 in a vacuum versus 340. So yeah, that's our little vacuum control. I don't think we're gonna need it. I think we'll be able to get away with what we have. It's just gonna be a matter of making the system behave. I think the way we're gonna do it is with this. Simple. It's easy. We have a lot of thrust with it. Our thrust to weight, however, is not enough to get us off the ground. So what we're going to do is come here. Couplings. This. That there. Over to our utility. I don't like adding the extra part, but I also, as everybody knows, I'm a bit of a stickler for making things look good. There we go. It helped the tanks get down, and since we don't have the mod for recovery, it shouldn't matter too much. Although we do need to make sure we do that from the other side. Otherwise, they will not connect. Almost enough for us to wait. Let's carefully get it up. So we are doing 1. Drop these first. For tubes. Drop. There. We go from here to here. There. Neat. Planetary surface structures. Okay, that's a thing. Modular launch pads. Oh, that's problematic. My question is, what is the point for the modular launch pad? That there. Call this suborbiter 1. Now, based off the way this is behaving, I do believe this will very easily get into orbit. It will only be a matter of how far into orbit we could go with it. Since we are doing and we will basically lose one stage. It's not a big deal because we don't have the recovery set up. But since we are not going for proper orbit, we are probably going to be returning quite a bit of fuel down. Okay, we'll sit here, local control. Okay, so we're not really worried about flight computer stuff right now. They seem perfectly content. Oh, we do have stage recovery, which means we will go back to the vehicle assembly before launch to apply the proper parachutes to the stage. Neat. Not at all what I was expecting, but it is lovely nonetheless. As I have said before, this is a mod pack that I was made aware of. That is quite a lovely pack in its own right. So I do not know all the mods that are in it. I kind of want to be surprised, like the rest of you. There will be a few times where I'm either adding or removing stuff depending on stability, but hopefully we shouldn't have any issues with that. Small step for a Kerbal, one giant leap for Kerbal kind. Okay. Oh. That's cool. Are gonna go through a few of these just to see. Huh. It's neat. Some of these we are familiar with. Others not so much. Cool. Alright. Launching in 3, 2, 1. Not dock mode. Oop, we do not want to toggle the map. Maybe maneuver node, yeah, because that can let us see where our apoapse is currently sitting at. I do find it funny that based on where the camera is whether we're hearing sonic boom from it. Hopefully when I jettison those, they should be fine. Wait for it. Now our biggest issue is we are technically underneath our thrust to weight, but exit the atmosphere is planned. We will move for a burn and going to go nice and carefully. One of the things I should do actually is intentionally not quite do it right, just so we stay on a suborbital, because if I make it orbital, we will skip a couple missions, and that would not be fun. Okay, we're breaking land distance, speed, stage to stage. Stars, great. We're going quite far. Let's push for the orbit. It doesn't have to be a perfect orbit. Three, two, one. Burn for orbit. Almost there. Alright, wait for it. So we are technically at orbit. And everyone has gained a level. Let's get them all set. Unfortunately, we do not have the astronaut complex upgraded for us to do a specific return yet. Let's warp there and tell you to point retrograde. Warp here. Way is a little easier to handle. Then we'll warp here. We have quite a bit of thrust to weight ratio now. And part of it is being in orbit, but the other part of it is the fact that we are quite a bit lighter now. burning for our suborbital trajectory. This should give us a relatively close hit on the planet. Okay, burn, burn, burn. We should have, gone sooner, but okay, hopefully the parachutes will deploy at the proper angles and we will be fine. There we go. Hold first. Broken altitude. Reach space. Enter to orbit. Escape the atmosphere. Escape the atmosphere. Reach for stars. I heard something explode. I'm just unsure of what it is. It could have been the rocket engine, given how roughly we sent it packing. And while we are not a perfect return, we are coming in for final landing. We're doing it with quite a bit more funding than we had previously. Yeah, quite a lot more funding than we previously had. That is quite nice. It's going to help out quite a bit. Oh, that is amazing. Transfer windows just at your fingertips. That is great. With maneuvers made for the transfer and how much delta V is needed. That is quite the great help. Hmm. Yeah, that's quite nice. A nice crew report. Let us continue on a nice slow descent to the surface. There we go. Recover it. And that is multiple missions complete. We're doing quite nicely for ourselves. Which means we can upgrade a lot of buildings back to where we had them, which will make the thing a lot easier. Okay, astronaut complex, EVA. Operations not really important. Get our runway up. Our hangar up. Research up. Hold off on that for now. Pay to have our radar station maxed out. I'm not really worried about the administration center. I barely use the plots that they have. World first. Turned from orbit. That is quite a useful endeavor. Check our mission control. Desert. Let's have it broken up into easy to access systems. So the desert is the one we're looking for. Cool, okay, that's nice. Base launch the Kerbal Space Station. That is insane. It'll be nice to have it once we have it, but we do not see it as a available thing. So are we paying to increase? Cool, yeah, paying to advance zone level. Nice. Orbital surveys, tourism, so many fun things to do. Let me check. Perform the orbital maneuvers. Adopt this, complete all the following, perform an EVA. Yep. Okay. Check our tracking station, see if we have the item in question in orbit waiting for us. Pyramids. Neat. Okay. Might be taking a peek at a couple small items. Because doing the maneuver and the docking and undocking can be a bit of a hassle sometimes. Since we have the extra science, and we now have the extra capabilities, let's peek at getting better aircraft. Landing gear, because nobody wants to be landing without good landing gear. Resource transfer station, that is amazing. Orbital shipyard, that is going to be useful. Go peek at what other things we have. Better batteries are there. A lot of science and the underwater stuff. Heat management, not really an issue right now. Advanced electronics, always welcome. Precision engineering is going to give me our sub-satellite systems. That might be one of our next ones, but for right now, we are going to hold off. Should have plenty of materials to make a decent aircraft. And then we can go unlock the, was it like submarine pen or the ocean launch area. Granted, we already know it is not a friendly area for us, so we will want to be a little careful with it. Here. Grab the fuel fuselage. Our twin burners. We'll toss twin engines on. And we'll get it doing a nice turn and burn. Action groups. Custom 1. Toggle. Oh, no, it's not. We want to switch modes. Action group 2 toggles the engines. Now, the only thing we really need for this is air intakes, which is relatively easy. Well, I could have swore that you could paint these. I guess not this time. Here, do local, and that way when I'm adjusting everything. Comes out looking at least half decent. Question is, how do I want to do this? Right now our lift is very high, so we're gonna have to get it up here. Make it's looking okay. I think we want to go to the rotation and get it rotated one more. Add a very valuable set of specialized control surfaces. And then just some landing gear. That looks a little better. Pulls them up to be quite close. The problem is I do believe the landing gear in the front is not quite where I want it. So we're going to bring it down a little bit more. That should be good. The other thing we're going to do is come to utility, and we're going to add our emergency chutes, and we have to make sure we do this right. So, this and this will always be the heavy emergency chutes. This one right here, tucked in the very back, is going to actually be the stopping chute. That should be enough to stop the entire aircraft as needed. We do have an issue with our center of lift. Hopefully I can bring it back. Not great, but it should work. Now, call it a sky skimmer, and we will do it once over, make sure have the items we need. I think we should be fine. We are not really planning a escape anytime soon, so they should not be worried about getting out of the vehicle. Hopefully it pre-prepped people for the vehicle, because I may have just launched without a crew. always worries me whenever the loading screen freezes. Always worried it's gonna be a crash. Hopefully, because we can move around, it'll always just come together after a few seconds. So far, she's behaving. The wheels are a little close together for my liking. As you saw, it had quite a bit of instability. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we need to go there. We'll keep it relatively slow because we want to make sure we have plenty of fuel. There we go. We're gonna hit Mach 1. That'd be kind of fun. Oh, Mach 1. It is not thrilled with our speed. Cut the engines down. Carefully prep for our turn. Oop. The engine's going again. We have not hit the right area. I believe it might be over there then. Thankfully, this aircraft is exceedingly maneuverable, and we do have enough fuel. Also nice that it does seem to maintain quite a decent speed capability. Let's see. Do a crew report. But I won't hit EVA. That'll just eject our pilot out, and while he might be able to get his parachute up, I do not want to risk it. Especially with no biscuits on the line. Yep, Mach 1. New launch site found. Pull a relatively high maneuver turn. Here we go. KSC is our new thing. Oh. We have a landing identifier, which would be nice. We're going to come in at a bit of an angle because we do want to make sure that we have the space to line up with the runway. Our ETA currently says 2.5 minutes. I believe we will cut that down ever so slightly as we maintain our velocity. I do like the updated nav ball showing the Mach speed and all that. Just a lot of mods I would not have thought of myself, but absolutely adore. Like the fact that there is a way to keep an eye on stuff, set up subsystems. Yeah, we're not doing any UVA ports, buddy. We're moving at Mach 1. Hopping out is a good way to disintegrate yourself. Unbuckle yet? No. We are moving quite swiftly, and I would like to maintain a very safe flight. Let us come in, bring throttle to, we'll say half. We are falling out of the sky, so that is something we have to be careful of. Careful, we do not want to get into a death spiral. We did kind of push it a little close with that, so we should be quite a bit more careful. We still have plenty of fuel to burn. Drop the gear and get us lined up a little better. Activate the first parachute to help slow us down. Engage our brakes. And we have returned victoriously. I believe we will do another outing. However, we will do one over by the desert. That way we can take a peek at those pyramids. I don't think I need anything else specific for the pyramids, but we do want to make sure we grab the mission for it. Structures, pyramids in the area. This does require an EVA though, so let's see under research and development if we can find our ladders. I believe they're in here. Unlock that so that we have our tree relatively safe. I don't think we need any of the special propellants right now. So, let's get back in here, go to spaceplane hangar, see if we can add a set of ladders to the design, make it a little easier for us to get the Kerbals in and out. Otherwise, we might have to hope we can get close enough with the vehicle to do an EVA and hold to still get it to count. Abilities. Zoom in to our ladders. And the ladder that we'll save it for now, but I'm pretty sure that one is closer to what we want. It'll be a little off of it, but it does work. Let's save that. I think we have to put anything else on it. Everything seems to just be behaving well enough as it is. Like, one of the things we might want to look at doing is making the engines a little bit better at their efficiency, but other than that, this seems to be behaving quite well, so long as we do not act silly with it. And a little tidbit for a lot of people. I don't think I've ever been to the desert airfield. I don't think I've ever had a need to go. So, we'll wait for it to load and I'll see if I recognize anything. I hope I do, but if I don't, it means more things to explore. Apply the brakes. Add navigation for the pyramids. There, that way. Brakes off. And move. I believe we should be good when we reach about 100, I think. Yeah. There we go. Actually, a relatively quick trip. Get our speed increased. We'll go for the high inclination. level ourselves out at a lower speed ratio, and we can actually come in at a attack vector, or at an attack inclination, as it were. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been out here, which is interesting. Also means I've never been to these pyramids, so hopefully they look interesting. According to this, we are 30 seconds out. Cut the engines, because right now we are literally coming in just under Mach, under no engine power. Oop, no, no, no. That is unfortunate, because I really didn't want to have to worry about a revert, but I also didn't have my keyboard. Alright, we will unfortunately select new team. Go to tracking station, and unfortunately have to mark them KIA. Should have been more careful. I was playing very fast and loose. I could have just popped the parachutes and brought the whole thing to a nice, soft landing. The hubris of command. I guess the rest of the craft was just considered disintegrated and disappeared. The astronaut complex. We have a scientist and a pilot. Unfortunately, we have our two Kerbals who were unfortunately KIA, our engineer and our pilot. We want a level 1 pilot. A level 1 engineer. You guys are going to get to go for the mission. It's very disheartening. I was hoping to go quite far without any KIAs. Also means our reputation is going to take a hit, but that's never been something I've worried about. Not to mention the aircraft design, I always for the most part, is relatively solid. It was, like I said, our own hubris that did us in. Go to crew. You guys hold off. Since you are going for a bit of a pilot's maneuver, I think this is what we're gonna do. Have you guys wear some semi-fancier suits in memory of our lost friends. Since we have an engineer, we can repack the parachutes, so this time we will be doing a emergency land. That way we remove the danger from our Kerbals. Oh. And we almost had another fatality because I was being too gung-ho with it. Let's go for a hard burn up. And then we'll begin our forced burn towards it. Alright, at 7K we should be getting a good amount of air intake. Scour the desert pyramids, no weaver. Like, yeah, but not really. Our objective is to make sure we bring everyone home today. Everything else is semantics. Engineering down. Gauge first parachute. Prepare to bring us in. Other parachutes deployed. Let's cool the engines down for now. Gear out. Probably pull the nose back so that we are not doing anything too bad. We will probably have to get the engines going to correct the ledge. Okay, slow down. Then the ladder. Our pilot will be getting out. Parachutes were never deployed. I believe that's them. There we go. Granted, I honestly can't remember if it was Bill or Bob. Fortunately. If I have to, I'll come back and update it with the correct one. Okay. Track the ladder. Move the brakes, and we will slowly make our way over to the pyramid site. World first. We'll plant first flag at home. Oop. Engage the brakes because we do not want to crash. And I have to still reset. The thing. Repack. Repack and repack. Okay, now that our chutes are rebuilt, grab on, board, enter the seat, and we're ready to go. There we go. Bring ourselves around and bring our Kerbals home. We have plenty of fuel for the mission. Well, for the return trip. So we're going to bring them in relatively quickly. We will have to do a maneuver in order to get ourselves aligned with the runway, but we will do that to carefully get ourselves. Although, since this is the end, let us do something a little silly, nothing too crazy, but cut the engines, cut that. Oop, almost knocked them out with a G limit increase. Pushing down, pulling up. And engines off, gear down. Cut that chute, and that should bring us down in a bit of a more controlled manner. We are coming down a little faster than I'd like, but it is not the worst speed I've seen. Toggle brakes. Recover. Mission accomplished. Let's check the astronaut complex to make sure we put the right names on the flag. I know one was Jeb, but problem with having a Bob and a Bill is they're very close. It's very hard to remember which one did what. complex. So it was Jeb and Bill. Okay. Cover the debris that's currently just sitting there. And we have about 10 minutes. So, what we're going to do, since 10 minutes is not by any indication a long time, you're going to look at maybe making a propeller plane. New small inlet. There you go. Here. Maybe it's under engines. Turboprop is a interesting one. Okay. Quad. Nice. Motor engaged, motor size output. Only put it to 10 because from what I hear, if you do higher, you tend to not go so well. It helps if I put them on the correct way. Controls. 45? We'll leave it at 60. Excuse you. We'll remove you since you apparently do not want to listen. What we're going to do is that to be going. At maximum speed. Not a fan. Not a fan, and that's not really what I want. We want liquid fuel and liquid fuel alone. Tank, liquid fuel, and that alone. Boom. Hit. Tank. Max. Close. And then we're gonna toss just a couple little winglets on it. For now. Come on. There we go. We can't use those. They are too close to the ground. Those are even still too close to the ground. And let's go to our action groups. We want main throttle to actually be connected to the deployment angle. Yes, because in theory, adjusting the angle is supposed to change the movement on it. Now, we are automatically treating this as a simulation, so even if it crashes, we will not lose the Kerbal. It is a simulation. This might just fall over under its own weight, though. Yep. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. I'll just do a recovery on the vessel then, and call it as it is. Neat. You can open up and close bases. That could be quite interesting in the future. Alright, everyone. This is the end of Season 2, Episode 1 of our Kerbal Space Program. I hope to see you all in the next one. Take it easy.